All right, welcome back to the Copywriters Podcast with your host, the world's greatest copywriting coach, David Garfinkel. David, how are you doing today?
Nathan, I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic, and I'm always excited about our episodes together, but this week especially because I saw two things. Number one, something in the title, and number two, a special guest lined up for this week's episode. So I'm going to turn it over to you and play the fly on the wall.
Okay, great. I'm excited too. Our guest today, Jason Strachan, went through a powerful turnaround over 10 years ago. He was deeply in debt, not doing especially well as a copywriter, hit and miss. And then he heard about Gary Bencivenga's famous Bencivenga 100 seminar in New York. But there was no way he could pull the money together to attend. However, when Gary offered the seminar on DVD, Jason moved heaven and earth and might have missed a couple meals to come up with the money to buy the recordings. And what he learned changed his life. Jason has said, I've always had this uncanny gift for assimilating new information when it interested me. He put what he learned to work, and his copy generated tens of millions for clients around the world. Fast forward to today. Jason has boiled down to what he learned over time into a formula made up of only 10 words and written a book about it called The Magic Word Method. And this is a printout of the ebook cover. By the time you see this, there may be a print book. We can talk about that. I've reviewed an early version of the book, and what I like about it is any one of those 10 words can be used both as copy or in your copy, but also as a strategic idea to refresh and turbocharge just about any copy you'd like to get to perform better. The words are not unusual or unfamiliar. You've heard them before, but the way Jason looks at them is unique in my experience. That's why I invited him to come on the show and share his viewpoint and some tips from the book. But first, there's something I'd like to share myself. Copy is powerful. You're responsible for how you use what you hear in this podcast, and most of the time, common sense is all you need. But if you write or make extreme claims, or if you're writing copy for offers in highly regulated industries like health and finance and business opportunity, you may want to get a legal review after you write and before you start using your copy. My larger clients do this all the time. So hi there, Jason, and welcome to Copywriters Podcast.
Hey, David. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yes. So tell us how you came to write this book, how you came to discover these words, what led up to all of this?
All right. Well, as you mentioned before, around 10 years ago, when I was just coming up in the copywriting world, I was struggling. I was writing promotions that weren't really doing that well. And I was like over 50,000 pounds in debt. My wife was pregnant at the time. And it was a tough situation. And at the time, I kind of figured out, all right, look, I knew two things. I knew there were copywriters out there that were going ahead, generating millions for their clients and beating controls left, right, and center. And two, I needed to find out how they did it. And that's when I was reading about Gary Bencivenga, and I heard about his seminar and what have you. And the biggest lesson I learned from Gary's DVD that a lot of people who also got from the DVD didn't quite pick up, I don't think, is how he kind of simplifies the whole process for persuasion and increasing conversions. So what I did was basically, because his formula was urgent problem, unique promise, overwhelming proof, irresistible offer, and a reason to act now. And that was kind of what he called the persuasion equation, which was amazing. So what I did was that I took that, and then I was able to actually apply it to modern day VSLs and sales pages by kind of modifying and adding to it in different ways. Because I felt like I could, I felt like the checklist he gave wasn't applicable to all different types of copy. So I added some more to it to kind of, so it could fit any type of promotion I wanted to write. So I could use it in different situations to beat controls or to do things like that.
Yeah. And how did this all sort of boil down to 10 words?
Okay, well, for the way Gary boiled it down, he boiled it down to 5 points, which was like the urgent problem, unique promise, overwhelming proof, irresistible offer, and the reason to act now. So he had kind of 5 words where he looked at it. So what I did is kind of expanded it into 10, and that worked. I found that covered it a bit more, because I broke it into like new, free, unique, problem, proof, who, why, promise, package now, which then covered it in a whole range of ways, and then enabled me to like mix and match them for different products to focus depending on the strength of the product and the awareness of the market and what the audience really wanted.
Yeah, and just reading your book, not actually tinkering with this stuff, it seems like you can use one or several of the words to take an existing promotion and actually raise the response on it, or beat it entirely with a new lead or a refresh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Yeah. So, for example, a lot of offers, for example, may start out with the problem, saying, "Okay, this book will teach you how to get your kids to stop arguing with you and go to sleep at night," for example. So, you can start out with the problem. Okay, so that could be the headline for one of them. So a way to beat the control is you could look at it from a different angle, and you could start with saying something new. So you could say a new sleep-inducing parental method, whatever kind of name you want to put on it, helps kids go to sleep at night easily without any stress or drama or what have you. So you can actually take one of the words and just kind of use it like Lego bricks to kind of swap them around, and that gives you a way to beat controls. Or let's say, I know Frank Kern's got an offer at the moment that where it's like get all these books for $1, or get like his best courses for $1. So what he's doing is he's starting out with the package, and he's starting out with that first because his offer is the strongest element. So he's leading with that. So as you can see, you can lead with different elements depending on the strengths of what you're offering. So yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, I do too. I like the idea that you have these different Lego blocks and you can just move them around. I mean, anyone can come up with 10 words, but what I like about this is it's so strategic and it's useful in different combinations. Let's drill down on a few of these words, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the first magic word, new. And I think in your book you talk about a Canadian supplement news that's being run in newspaper ads. It's just been killing it for a while. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, that was by a company called Healthy Directions. And it's amazing to see, because basically the headline just says new natural secret weapon dramatically speeds up weight loss. And then it's got a picture of a lady on a scale. She's really happy and she's like got a fist pumping away. And then there's a promise. Oh, sorry, there's a proof element where it says backed by clinical research as kind of like a stamp element on the cover. And then it's the sub headline says you will lose up to 30 pounds in 90 days. Full story inside. And it's kind of like a magalog. It's very, very simple. But just having the new promise on there, and this has it working like gangbusters.
Yeah, and it almost doesn't make sense. I mean, if it's natural, how can it be new? It must be millions of years old. But it doesn't matter, right? It because maybe it's a new way to use it or newly discovered.
Yeah, and just a new insight, a new way of thinking about something, a new way of thinking about an old thing. It counts as new. Yeah.
Why do you think new is so powerful in any circumstance? Because I think it is. I just love your take on what it is about that gets our reticular activating system going.
That's all one word, David. Dopamine. It's all about the dopamine. These days in the market we're in now, TikTok and everything else, but short little video clips, everything's driven by dopamine. If you can get the dopamine pumping the most, your marketing is going to get most attention, which turns into the highest response. So that's why new, especially in today's market, is the most powerful thing.
You just gave me an idea for a T-shirt. You could sell millions of them, driven by dopamine.
Driven by dopamine. That is great. And I'll try and look up the URL for that one.
Okay. So do you have any other examples of a headline, and this could be from real life or just as a teaching example, where you just insert new in it and all of a sudden the headline pops?
Oh, quite a few new. It's been a lot of what I've had a lot of success with is like doing when it comes to supplements. It's like I had one called where we're selling a vitamin D supplement. But the problem is that you can't. It was during COVID times, so you weren't allowed to say anything to do with COVID or to do with viruses or anything at the time because Facebook could
Right.
just
Unless you were Moderna or
unless yeah.
Pfizer. Oh, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, they get a special pass, right? And they can say what they want. But yeah, so I had to come up with a different way of doing it. So what we did, we created this new method, which we called the new super immunity neuro strengthening formula, which we called SINS, which is basically a way of what the doctor was doing, was basically helping people improve their immunity just by basically taking care of their health or whatnot. But we kind of gave it a different name, which then again made it new again, so it got attention. Even though really just teach people just to look after themselves and exercise and eat healthy and cut out the sugar and what have you.
You know, that's a good lesson. I hope everyone got what you just said, because it's like if you just told them straight out, this will do this for you, which is true and which is good, that's not nearly going to work as calling it new and giving it a name and getting that dopamine flowing, huh?
Yeah, yes, got it. That's like the magic ingredient. Yeah, it's like salt for a chef, I guess. Yeah, you gotta add it in.
That's great. All right, let's talk about another second magic word. This might be my favorite of all of them, unique. And you had some examples of golf club. I wonder if either of these were Gary Halbert examples. Sometimes you don't know who the copywriter was because they sounded a lot like his stuff. But the golf club and the fishing lure examples.
Yeah, it sounds very much like. I wouldn't be surprised if Gary Holbert ran it. It's really clever. The first one I saw is because he's ran these ads. This is a headline that ran in Newsweek magazine and the Wall Street Journal from 1990 to 2020. And I think these were perhaps the most successful print advertorials of all time. And the headline went, "New golf club secret metal may hit too far on some par fours." So that was one of them. So that was, again, it's something new.
Let me stop for a second. 30 years, right? 1990 to 2020. 30 years.
Yep.
Yeah, please continue. Just wanted to point that out to everybody.
Definitely has a longevity factor. And the other one that ran alongside it as well in a different niche was said, "New laws catch rate may be too high for some tournaments." So that one worked really well too.
Catching too many fish to compete. I love it. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So right away you're using new, but you're also talking about unique. Obviously, not every golf club's going to hit the ball too far, and obviously not every fishing lure is going to catch too many fish, right? So there's a uniqueness. You know, one thing I wanted to point out, which I've really learned this year, both from John Williamson. What's John's last name? I don't know. The guy in Scotland, John with the beard, and I think it's Williamson, and also from a client of mine, is that in branding, different is not good. It's weak. It's weak. What's strong is unique, because if you're the only one, that pretty much puts a lock on your position in the market in a lot of people's minds.
Puts you in a category of one.
Perfect. Yeah. So do you have any thoughts on why unique is so powerful, and maybe anything that you've done yourself to use it?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. For example, I'm working on a productivity app at the moment, and it's one of the number one. It is the number one biohacking app on the iTunes store. And basically, at the moment in the ads, it says it uses an AI system to kind of like work out your own like productivity habits. So it works out a great productivity system for you, and it uses AI to build it. The problem is playing AI is that everyone's using AI these days for everything. They've actually changed it to, like, say, instead of AI, to neuro profiling system. So it's much more unique.
Oh, wait, stop, slow down. Neuro profiling system. Yeah. Wow, what the hell is that? That's great. I love it.
Yeah, so basically it's using the AI as well, but it's giving it a unique name. So that way it can't be compared to every other app that's using AI.
Okay. Yeah, that's really good. You know, a lot of people think, oh, well, how can everybody be unique? And my answer is, you already are. You just haven't figured out how to express it and how to sell it yet, right? I mean,
Mhm.
sometimes it involves a little digging, but most of all, it involves a creative mindset, wouldn't you say?
Oh, without a question. And that's another thing as well. There's always two parts to anything that you sell. When it comes from a personal brand point of view, you're selling a product or service that you're doing, but you're also selling your personality too. And that is all. That is the more you can lean into that side of things, then the more unique you're going to be. Like the reason why you're deciding an offer and the causes that are close to your own heart. I mean, we've seen like how Trump manages to don't get subscriptions and whatever, and people pay him loads of money. They buy just because into who he is and what he's doing or whatever. And obviously, I'm not into politics or whatever, but I'm just saying that by making it clear what you stand for or whatever it is, and expressing your personality, people will buy into that just by into that alone.
Well, that's an example that will be very hard to forget. So thank you. Okay, third magic word, free. And in the book, you had that stunning, timeless ad by John Carlton. Famous street fighter wants to give you a free gun. You want to talk about that ad and about free and
Oh yeah, free is amazing. That ad as well is probably one of my favorite martial arts ads. This martial arts system is so effective. I'm willing to give you a free gun just to prove how effective it is. It's one of my favorite all-time ads. And yeah, it's written by John Carton. And yeah, the power of free works in everything. And it works for people that it doesn't just apply to people who have no money. You can be as rich as anyone because a lot of people think that their prospects won't respond to free, but that's very rarely true because everyone wants to get as much as they can for spending as little as possible. So if you
Sure.
offer like free insights and things like that, that can work well. For example, I wrote this control for like V-Shred that's done way over like 100 million in sales. Okay. And one of the things that they get from it is they get to put in all of their personal details about their fitness goal they want to achieve or what have you. And then once they finish the quiz, it tells them, oh, look, you're an endomorph body type or whatever. And it tells you all about their situation. So it gives them that free insights and it shows them free fat destroyers made for their body type. So again, that can count as free. So it doesn't have to be a situation where you're offering your services for free or giving away free products. You give away free insights, calls, free masterclasses, and things like that. That works really well in my experience.
Yeah, that's a good example. All right, well, we've got a little time left. Why don't you tell us about your book and the special offer that comes with it? I'm sure this is just recently, as this comes out in mid-October, it's recently released, your book. So the book itself is The Magic Word Method. I can get my camera lined up there.
Yeah, so the book's called Magic Word Method, and it gives you a breakdown of how to use these 10 magic words you can use them two ways. You can either use them as a business owner to tell if the next piece of copy you receive is going to work or not, whether it has these 10 elements or not. Because the fact is, for a promo to convert on cold traffic, it's going to need at least 9 of these magic words in there to get the highest rate of conversions. If you get 10, perfect. But you need at least 9 in truth. Okay. If you go through any of the most successful ads running on cold traffic right now, you'll notice that they have at least 9, all of them. So basically, or you can use it to in a fill in the blank fashion, just create your own ads and sales pages if you prefer. So the book itself, it costs $4.99. So I've priced it really cheaply so that whoever wants it can just pick it up. And when you buy it today, you get $248 in free bonuses. So you get the book. Plus, you get video walkthroughs of real businesses using the 10 magic word methods in their ads, so you can model them. You also get a $50 million swipe file of ads using the actual magic words in their ads, and I've actually annotated it for you so you can see how they're using it, so you can model that too. You get the Magic Word Method sales letter training, which shows you how I use it to actually write sales pages really fast and really effectively. You also get a professionally recorded audio book too. So I know a lot of people want to listen, like with this podcast, you learn best by listening in your car or do be in the gym or whatever. So you get all that today. And also anyone who buys today as well gets a chance to have me actually critique one of their ads or sales pages as well to actually personally show you how to improve conversions on your ads or sales pages as far as possible. So yeah, that's what you get if you get the book today.
And this is all for $4.99?
That's correct.
What a deal.
I got to practice what I preach, David. I got to practice what I preach.
It's almost free. Yeah. Okay. That's very good. So the URL for that offer is www.10magicwords.com/book.
That's correct.
10magicwords.com/book. And Nathan, you have popped up on the video. What's going on?
I just want to say I did visit the 10 Magic Words website, and I see that you're practicing what you're preaching. You're using a lot of the words in your own sales page as well. So if you're not sold on buying the book through this podcast, at least go check out the sales page so that you can see how Jason is using it in his own practice. And I'm pretty sure you'll be sold by the end of that sales page, because I'm sold on it as well. So I just wanted to say thank you for coming on, sharing all of this with our listeners, and one more time, give them a chance to go check out what you've got going on.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you very much, Nathan. Thank you, David. It's been a real pleasure being on this podcast. Thank you very much. Yeah, for anyone who wants a book, go ahead and check it out. It'd be a pleasure to have you and serve you and what have you and help you with your marketing. www.10magicwords.com/book. And yeah, pick it up. It's a really good book. So I'd love to hear your feedback.
If someone wants to reach out to you directly, what email should they use?
Oh, yeah. Reach out to me by email at advertisingalchemy@gmail.com.
Okay, good. And we'll put that in the show notes. So you can find those show notes on copywriterspodcast.com. At the end of the show notes, we'll have the URL for the 10 Magic Words book offer and to reach out to Jason personally.
All right, Jason, thank you so much for coming on, man. Listeners out there, if you enjoyed this podcast and you want more, definitely check out copywriterspodcast.com. And until next time, we will catch you later.
Catch you later.
See you later.